Percy! Annabeth grabbed my arm and pointed at the reservoir. The Titan in the gold armor wasn't waiting for his forces to advance around the sides. He was charging towards us, walking straight over the top of the lake. A Greek firebomb exploded right on top of him, but he raised his palm and sucked the flames out of the air. Hyperion, Annabeth said in awe. The Lord of Light, Titan of the East. Bad, I guessed. Next to Atlas, he's the greatest Titan warrior. In the old days, 4 Titans controlled the 4 corners of the world. Hyperion was the East, the most powerful. He was the father of Helios, the first sun god. I'll keep him busy, I promised. Percy, even you can't. Just keep our forces together. We'd set up at the reservoir for a good reason. I concentrated on the water and felt its power surging through me. I advanced towards Hyperion, running over the top of the water. Yeah, buddy, 2 can play that game. 20 feet away, Hyperion raised his sword. His eyes were just like I'd seen in my dream, as gold as Kronos's, but brighter, like miniature suns. Sea God's brat. You're the one who trapped Atlas beneath the sky again. It wasn't hard, I said. You Titans are about as bright as my gym socks. Hyperion snarled. You want bright? His body ignited in a column of light and heat. I looked away, but I was still blinded. Instinctively, I raised Riptide, just in time. Hyperion's blade slammed against mine. The shockwaves sent a 10-foot ring of water across the surface of the lake. My eyes still burned. I had to shut off his light. I concentrated on the tidal wave and forced it to reverse. Just before impact, I jumped upward on a jet of water. Ah! The wave smashed into Hyperion and he went under, his light extinguished. I landed on the lake's surface just as Hyperion struggled to his feet. His golden armor was dripping wet. His eyes no longer blazed, but they still looked murderous. You will burn, Jackson, he roared. Our swords met again, and the air charged with ozone. The battle still raged out around us. On the right flank, Annabeth was leading an assault with her siblings. On the left flank, Grover and his nature spirits were regrouping, entangling the enemies with bushes and weeds. Enough games, Hyperion told me. We fight on the land. I was about to make some clever comment like, No! When the Titan yelled. A wall of force slammed me through the air, just like the trick Kronos had pulled on the bridge. I sailed backwards about 300 yards and smashed into the ground. But if I hadn't been in my new vulnerability, I would have broken every bone in my body. I got to my feet, groaning. I really hate when you Titans do that. Hyperion closed on me with blinding speed. I concentrated on the water, drawing strength from it. Hyperion attacked. He was powerful and fast, but he couldn't seem to land a blow. The ground around his feet kept erupting in flames, but I knew it, and I kept dousing it just as quickly. Stop it! The Titan roared. Stop that wind! I wasn't sure what he meant. I was too busy fighting. Hyperion stumbled like he was being pushed away. Water sprayed his face, stinging his eyes. The wind picked up, and Hyperion staggered backwards. Percy! Grover called in amazement. How are you doing that? Doing what? I thought. Then I looked down and I realized I was standing in the middle of my own personal hurricane. Clouds of water and vapor swirled around me. Winds so powerful they buffeted Hyperion and flattened the grass in a 20-yard radius. Enemy warriors threw javelins at me, but the storm knocked them aside. Sweet! I muttered. But a little more. Lightning flickered around me. The clouds darkened and the rain swirled faster. I closed in on Hyperion and blew him off his feet. Percy! Grover called again. Bring him over here! I slashed and jabbed, letting my reflexes take over. Hyperion could barely defend himself. His eyes kept trying to ignite, but the hurricane quenched his flames. I couldn't keep up a storm like this forever, though. I could feel my powers weakening. With one last effort, I propelled Hyperion across the field, straight to where Grover was waiting. It will not be toyed with, Hyperion bellowed. He managed to get to his feet again, but Grover put his reed pipes to his lips and began to play. Lennius joined him. Around the grove, every satyr took up the song, an eerie melody like a creek flowing over stones. The ground erupted at Hyperion's feet. Gnarled roots wrapped around his legs. What's this? He tried to shake off the roots, but he was still weak. The roots thickened and kept thickening until he looked like he was wearing wooden boots. Stop this! Your woodland magic has no match for a Titan. But the more he struggled, the faster the roots grew. They curled around his body, thickening and hardening into bark. His golden armor melted into the wood, becoming a part of the tree trunk.